Welcome back to my PCPro Certification. So here I've finished Chapter 10, so we're going to go through what the sections were and some of the labs in it. So the first section we learned about component selection. We learned about what kind of components you would need for certain workstations and systems. Section 2 we learned about Windows pre-installation, how to plan it, how to verify that it will work, all that. Section 3, we learned about Windows installation. So we learned about actually installing it and doing that. Section 4, we learned about post-installation. So we learned about how to make sure all the settings are right after you install it. And then 10.5, we learned about virtualization. So how to get a virtual machine booted from the cloud, from your network, and how to create virtual machines and virtual hard disks on your network through the cloud. So let's start by going through lab 10.3.5, install a workstation image using PXE. So in this one, all we have to do is turn the computer on, configure the integrated NIC in the BIOS for PXE, boot it, and install the Windows 10 image and verify it's working. So turn it on, F2 to go to BIOS, then we have to go to System Configuration, Integrated NIC, and put it on Enabled with PXE, so that'll allow us to boot into a VM from our network here. So there's Windows 10, click Enter, it'll start the booting here, and once that loads, we'll know that it's working, and we can verify that everything's working, and then score lab. Now that it's loaded here, we can see it loaded in fine, no errors, so we can score, see that we did it properly. Now we can go to our next lab here. We're gonna create a virtual machine, create virtual machines, 2 of them. So for this, it says we've installed Hyper-V, so that's what we're going to be using, Hyper-V Manager. So now we have to go to New, Virtual Machine, and we have to type in all our settings that we want for it. So the name, VM1, Generation 1, we want 1024 megabytes. We want it to be an external. Make sure everything's right here. Change the size to 50. And make sure it says operating system later. So after that we can finish, and we can see that it's there, state off, CPU usage, assigned memory uptime, etc. Now we can make another here. This one is going to be VM2, also generation 1. This one we are going to use dynamic memory for, and we want it to have 2048 startup gigabytes of memory. Okay. This is going to be an internal connection. We're going to make sure the name's right and the location's right. We're going to change the size to 250 gigabytes. Install later. Then we can finish that one. Now we can see we have both of them here. And it wants us to change the minimum and maximum RAM for VM2. So we can go to settings here, memory, and then minimum RAM needs to be 512, and maximum needs to be 4096. So now we can apply, click OK, and score the lab, see that we did everything properly. Now we're going to do the next one here, which is creating the virtual hard disks. This one's a whole lot quicker than the last one and considerably easier to do. We load up Hyper-V, new, hard disk, click next, use the format it wants, use the disk type, name it, and give it a size, and that's all we have to do here. And we can finish it, and then add one more here. With all the settings it wants. Make it the size it wants. And just like that, we finish here. And if we scored the lab, we can see we did it right. And that one was a lot quicker. So that's it for chapter 10 here. And I will be done with chapter 11 sometime next week. Thank you for watching this video.